You know, Patrick, when I first met Patrick, and you've been married for 4 years now, you've always been a cook that I remember. I mean, you're a finance guy, but tell me a little bit about how you got into cooking and why, because you really like to cook, right?
Yeah, well, I got into cooking because I needed a job.
Right.
I got hired onto a restaurant, actually cleaning the restaurant, and then the head cook saw I worked hard and hired me into the kitchen. So then I was he had just redone the restaurant, this cook, and he had a heart attack, and he had to retire from the kitchen. So I got promoted to chef instantaneously, and I worked my way through high school and college in restaurants.
In the restaurant business, right? And you then became a what? What changed? You went into finance. Tell us a little bit about your life and how you stayed so healthy.
I don't know that I stayed so healthy, but I went to college. After high school, I went to college. Like I said, I worked in restaurants, but I started out as an engineering major. I don't really know how. Price Waterhouse did a presentation to the economics class I was taking, and I found out that they actually paid more than the engineering kids, the accountants, if you made it to the B-4, so I switched majors. I was at Arizona State at the time and finished up there, and I traveled around a bit through different job transfers.
Right. But you love to cook. Now, I have to say that when we went out to South Dakota, because that's where his other children are, in South Dakota, and when he goes to South Dakota, you have a what there? Farm.
Yeah, it's an 8 acre, well, it's a 160 acre farm, but I rent 8 acres with old farmhouse, so the kids have a place to stay, and then I do all the cooking. So I love to cook, but I have to cook because there's 4 kids who need to be fed. So And my mom got me into cooking when I was like 10, and she said the reason I cooked was because I got to control the meals, so I got to choose what I wanted to eat. So that's apparently how I really got started in cooking, was I got to cook what I wanted, which is still the case. So.
Right. So how do you stay healthy, Patrick?
I just try to exercise, try to balance the exercise in. That's pretty much. And
do you take supplements at all?
I would like to say yes. I have them in the closet. I am horrible at taking supplements, though. I mean, that is like my thing that I'm horrible at.
You're horrible at that?
Yeah.
Now, when I first met these two gentlemen, you used to work for who, Neil?
Well, both Beachbody and prior to that, Kathryn Raaker.
Right. Yeah. And you were the marketing person for them, correct?
Internet, actually started their internet businesses.
Right.
Yeah.
And everybody remembers Beachbodies, right? Correct? And how did you meet this gentleman right here? This is Ed Grinblat and Neil Evans of Apteca Natural.
Thanks. Back at Beachbody, I was Senior Vice President of Operations, and we were looking for a skilled procurement professional to help us start the line of supplements and do formulation. And we were fortunate to find Ed, and after lots of back and forth, we hired him in and subjected him to all the torture of the big league. And did an awesome job. We've been colleagues and friends now for about 8 years.
I'll tell you, I've traveled with these two guys. They're fun, to say the least. And what I didn't realize that they like to do is they like to do antique stores, because they both like to collect. So when they came to visit me in Cincinnati, that's what they did for fun, correct? Because they do expos and all this other kind of stuff. Well, it's amazing because I unfortunately can't take a lot of drugs because I'm so allergic to them. So I wanted to stay, and I wanted Bill to stay healthy. So I always do a lot of research when I'm looking for products, from pharmaceuticals to cosmetic, to anything in the research. And I got a email from Apteca Natural, and I thought, oh no, not another supplement company, right? I thought, this is another one. And then their products started arriving, and I started talking to these two gentlemen, and I was hooked, immediately hooked. Because everything that they produced actually didn't have an aftertaste to it, like vitamins which drove me crazy, Robert, you know. And then I tried their everything from their essential oils, and I started getting Bill to start taking stuff. Now, Bill takes nothing except the 3 things that he needed to take. Why are men, and I'm going to walk around the room with this, why are men so stubborn about staying healthy and going to the doctor and doing certain things that women automatically do? Tell me. Can you tell me that? Swan?
Just lazy.
Lazy?
Yeah, they just don't want to take care of themselves, and you know that's what I.
But you started doing juicing. You had to take care of yourself. Was it because of your son?
Well, yes, I'm thinking about my son. Of course, I want to be around a lot longer because I'm
How
an
long?
older guy.
Is your dad still living?
No.
So when did he pass?
My dad passed away about 10 years ago.
And Robert, your dad's still here with us because we used to
Yeah,
TV show.
my dad's a very healthy 83-year-old, and he takes his supplements.
He takes his
Right,
supplements.
he does. He did the chelation therapy 15 or 20 years ago, and he's very progressive.
He is.
Everything that he does, yes, and it shows. You can see it today in how healthy he is.
Right. And Neil, you are really have always been. Can you share your age with us?
I am older.
Everybody knows I'm 69. Come on, give me a
All right,
break.
I'm 66. I'm busted.
I'm busted.
Yeah.
Hi, what's wrong with me?
All right, I was
Tell me your
born
age.
before 64. Yes,
but
I
you know,
was.
here's the thing. You know, I think, and I may be crazy here, Robert, but I think that we can live to 150 easily. If we're an engine, really. I mean, when you think about the heart as a muscle, the heart, you know, we're doing so many things today. Am I right? That keep us running, and if we keep this engine well oiled and take care of it, it can last for just like a car can, right?
Mm-hmm. The problem is that people don't wake up and think about it until you're 45 or 50 or 55. And we abuse ourselves from 15 to 35 or 40. And that is really what I think that extrapolates backwards at living to 150 years. If we could wake up and go, okay, from age 0 all the way through, you're really focused on your health and that this is a body, that's a machine that you have to take care of, and whatever you put in there has to be right. Then you could live to be 150. But I think that the normal human population, we just abuse the heck out of ourselves, and then we wake up at 50 and go, whoa, I need to do something, which is a great market for you guys.
Oh, absolutely.
Right, but it would be nice to move it backwards and keep hitting them earlier and earlier.
I think, though, that more and more people are becoming cognizant, and regardless of what time in their life it happens, it's better than not happening at all.
And I agree with that too, because just like you can have a car that doesn't have any oil, and as soon as you start oiling it, you start fixing it, start repairing some of the fan belts, that car's going to last a lot longer. And if you don't do it, it's not going to happen. So I totally agree.
Well, you know, one of the things that I noticed, Patrick, and you can talk about this, because I've noticed that our granddaughter Cassie, Cassandra, she eats very differently than a lot of other kids do. And tell us, you know, she's a very picky eater, isn't it? Would you say she's a picky eater?
I'd say medium picky. I mean, I've seen worse.
You've seen
With all my
worse.
kids.
But she eats healthy things.
Yeah, she'll eat most healthy things, you know. It's just getting the kids exposed to things. A lot of it at 3 is texture still. So they just don't like textures in their mouth. So, you know, they'll once you get them to eat something and you can tell them that this is like that, you know, then they'll progress down there. But, you know, she eats a lot of fruits. Vegetables are a little harder to push. Again, I think a lot of it's, again, just the textures. But she loves green beans, so, you know, it's just finding those things that she likes.
Right.
Your daughter hates the fact that I cheat and put cheese on vegetables, and she likes the cheese on the vegetables.
Yeah.
So we disagree on that point, but I got
protein there.
I got her to eat the vegetables, so I count it as a win.
Right. And you know, you affect as a dad, and we're going to talk a little bit about how we affect, you know, our kids' health in just a second, because we have to take a short break on Born Before 64, and we'll be right back. And do you all have websites or not?
Yes.
Go for it.
DavidSwanMontgomery.com.
DaddyandCompany.com.
Apteca Naturel, that's with an EL.com.
Okay, and Patrick? Not yet. We will be having a new one for him. And bornbefore64.com. And we'll be right back with all these wonderful men and myself on men's health on Born Before 64. We'll be right back.